We're just kind of going through some high-level topics. It's not meant to be very in-depth, but just seeing if these topics make sense for the upcoming actual course. The pre-workshop is a month long, again, just for the month of July, to educate some researchers in the space and teach them how they might be engaging with the NDC in the future. We have some NFT drops that have been going out. We have a partnership with Metapool and MetaVote. So pretty great so far, and we're hoping to just keep this kind of momentum going. And then focusing on how we might engage with these types of research within the NDC. And hopefully this will help us get an understanding of not just general research methodologies, but also how they can be used to support the research working group as we move forward. Quantitative research is used when the research aims to quantify the problem, right, by generating numerical data. So usually if you're thinking about quantitative research, you're thinking about numbers and data, statistics, and a lot of what we've been talking about recently in terms of digging into on-chain transactions or on-chain data, and then trying to just analyze it with graphs and charts. And that's kind of quantitative, in my opinion, some of the easiest parts of, or one of the easiest methods of research within Web3, because again, everything's public, everything's open, and you could just kind of use something like Pikes Peak and get a whole CSV file and then analyze data with that. They're relatively straightforward, especially the first few. But anyways, qualitative research is looking up about the qualities of something. So primarily exploratory, used to gain an understanding of underlying reasons, opinions, and motivations. The idea here is you're trying to look at the qualities of a certain, so maybe you have a survey go out to all the people that have I am human within the NDC, and you ping them on near social so that anyone can respond online. But then you're actually, so you're getting, it's the real person because again, they're using the blockchain and I am human as a public way to reach them. But then they're actually telling you maybe a survey, like a poll, how they feel about something. How do they feel about the onboarding experience to I am human? How do they feel about the fact they need to show their face, for example? And that would be more like the qualitative, the qualities of onboarding to I am human, not maybe the numbers of people that onboard to I am human. And usually you might want to do a bit of both. But for now, obviously starting with one might be a bit more straightforward. For mixed methods research, again, would be mixing the two of these together, which again, more comprehensive and generally what we would expect for a more a higher level of research. For now, we're kind of just onboarding. Most of the research we do within the research collective will be one-page reports, so probably not much mixed methods, but maybe if we take multiple reports and bring them together from multiple people, that might, constitute as mixed method research. So you have descriptive research, you're describing the characteristics of the population or phenomenon being studied. So what happened? Or, trying to describe it in a little more detail. So it could be, examining the characteristics, again, of the I am human population. What is the level of the average level of near in these accounts? Are these people using DeFi? Are these people interacting with NFTs? Or are there other NDC aspects that they're interacting with? So what are these people doing, and how can we kind of describe it in a straightforward way? Experimental research is, again, setting up an experiment to figure this out, where research tries to manipulate one or more variables and controls, and then measures a change in other variables. So again, if maybe for I am human face verification, we're getting a certain amount of signups per week or per month, and we want to, let's see, add another way of verifying, right? And not by scanning your face. And maybe we get a whole bunch more signups. That would be a very simple way of, again, changing one variable, the way to approve, and then seeing what the controls are on the back end, seeing what the changes are on other variables, like how many signups. But there could be a bunch of ways to kind of dig into this, right? So your experiment could be, setting up a placebo effect in a certain group, and then having a different group that has, real assets to engage with. Generally in Web3, I don't think there's much experimental research unless you're actually building a piece of tech. But yeah, you will probably be staying a little bit away from experimental research, but still good to kind of go over. More of a natural setting would probably be more appropriate for the NRC or the NDC, just because, again, most people that we're going to be researching are just near accounts. Even if they are I Am Human, we don't really know necessarily what their names are and who they are. So they're going to be interacting in their natural settings, like at home or on their phones. But you can start observing, okay, what is the I Am Human population doing within the NDC? And what is the general near population doing, for example? We can talk about what's the metapool population doing, and understanding what are these different voting bodies doing outside of just voting on-chain. Case studies, again, getting into more of like different studies you can get into. There's like a few different studies. It's not really in order, sorry. There's 3 studies in most research types. But anyways, a case study is an in-depth study of a situation. So in my opinion, a wonderful idea for a case study is like comparing the NDC governance that's planned with maybe the regional communities DAO's governance that just happened. There's the creators DAO governance, maybe, of just choosing people. There's the marketing DAO maybe issues. There's the meta vote, where anyone can get on board. There's a Aurora community DAO, and there's lots of different near-based DAOs, but also other ecosystems. So the Ethereum ecosystem has a lot of very large DAOs. I mean, Uniswap is run by a DAO. ENS, so .eth names, are all run by a DAO. So there's a lot of different cases to study across the ecosystem, not just in NEAR, not just the NDC. And it can be helpful to kind of equate, maybe we should make some changes in different, like V2 of the NDC governance, or V3, based on what we can learn from other projects. It's a type of qualitative research, right? Where it's not like its own. Anyways, survey research, a type of qualitative research, searching about qualities of individuals using a survey. So the polls that we put out on a weekly basis would be a type of survey research where we're surveying the community to get individual responses, and then understand through their responses, understand what's happening in that population. So right now we have where we tick I Am Human is needed verification to interact with the NDC official poll. But again, we could have a poll where anyone could respond and then check the responses against being I Am Human and have maybe more data to work with. Like I Am Human respondents decided to say this, non-I Am Human respondents decided to say this. And so, for example, one of the polls out right now is about media compensation rates. And so because the community treasury is arguably supporting the entire NEAR ecosystem, maybe someone outside of the NDC or outside of I Am Human might vote for lower rates. Maybe someone in the NDC may vote for higher rates, or maybe it's the same across the board. And this kind of research can help us figure that out. So longitudinal study is a research design that involves repeated observations. So again, it's an observational study over a short or long period of time. So that's not really important. It's over a period of time. So instead of being at one specific snapshot, you're studying something over a period of time. So maybe each week you want to see the types of people onboarding to OG SBTs, and maybe each week, what are the types of people that are getting it, right? Yeah, so relatively self-explanatory in my opinion. And then a cross-sectional study is a type of, again, an observational study that involves the analysis of data collected from a population or a subset, and then one specific point in time. So again, longitudinal studies, where you're observing a population over a period of time, and then you have cross-sectional, you're getting a cross-section of what's happening. Just one point in time, what's happening to these people, and kind of figuring out what's going on there. So this might be helpful, like right before the NDC nominations, for example. What did the I Am Human population look like? And then maybe right before elections, do another cross-sectional study. What does the population look like now? And that can give you a difference in what's happening, but also you put those two together and you might get a longitudinal study. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know why it's saying 6, maybe just because they want your fees. I don't know. We're going to stay away from that real quick. Let's go back to voting. So basically, in there, this part isn't that important for what we're doing today. This is just kind of decentralized finance and all that kind of stuff. Not too important, again, for what we're doing today. We're focusing on the voting. So all of the fees that Metapool makes or earns, they're giving 100% back of it to the community. So again, this is the rewards of monthly distribution back to the community. So hopefully this makes a bit of sense, right? There's rewards earned because of the validators. They take a bit of fees, like we saw, 3%, 0.3% for fast on stake. There's other fees like validator fees or a small amount of fees in the ecosystem to fund the dev team and everything like that.
but 100% of the rewards goes back to the community. 50% of that, they actually have it all right here. This is awesome. There you go. 100% goes back to the community. 50% goes back to the voters. So just for voting, so everyone here will get 100 meta after the workshop, and just for voting on anything you want, you do not have to vote for, like, I'm obviously going to shill that today, but you don't have to vote for Marma or the Research Collective. You can vote for whatever incentive or whatever proposal you think is supporting the community best. But 50% of those funding goes to community proposals. So the Marma Foundation, along with the Near Research Collective, put a joint proposal in to receive $400 worth of meta, $400 US worth of meta for the Meta ST Near pool for rewards, so that people that join the pool will be able to receive additional meta incentives and be able to vote more often and earn, right, 50% voter rewards, and allow us as a community to hopefully get more votes on our proposals. But also there's going to be $419 US worth of meta, hopefully distributed to the DAO. I know you can't see anything here, so I don't know why I'm showing it. It's on this pool. So yeah, we're hoping to get $419 worth of meta distributed to this pool.